Or
when he was
both of
president.
them.
Yeah. No, it was just.
But his comedy bit was that he was being angry to like Barack Obama's like poise and calm.
Yeah, like he was like the angry black man subtitles, or kind of like what Barack Obama wants to say but can't.
Oh, that was the bit. Okay.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Hey guys, we will be talking about Key and Peele and Keanu in a little bit for our final cat movie day of the month. But happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Amy and Samir here. We've got a really fun, oh God, this is, I flip over to my Facebook feed to share the thing, and this Coronado police arrest man accused of trying to bury wife at beach. He's trying to bury her alive. Like, is that just burying her
alive, or
like,
were they just like playing a kinky game?
Yeah.
Like,
or maybe she's like, bury me in the sand, and then he just like kept going.
Yeah, well, clearly you're going to have to bookmark that to read later, because we should go over that.
Yeah.
Future Discovery Channel special coming, guaranteed, if that story turns out to be what we think it is. But
yeah,
please continue sharing. We are going to continue talking about the movie Sounder, which we watched for yesterday's Woman Crush Wednesday, Cicely Tyson.
Yes.
And then we're going to get to Key and Peele and talk about the last of our cat movies for the romantically challenged this month. For those who have cats instead of sex partners, this is our last choice to honor you.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the last couple days of this week are going to be on some fun movies, Keanu being no exception here. But yeah, let's talk about Sounder. So yesterday we talked about Cicely Tyson, and this is the film we picked. This is the only time she was nominated for an Oscar. This was in the 70s when this came out, and she did not win. She was not nominated again, but she pretty much got like her biggest award recognition in the 70s. That's when she also won her Emmy, but then she was nominated, I think we figured out, it was like over 13 Emmys throughout the years up until recently for How to Get Away with Murder.
She's also a recipient of the presidential
yes, Medal of Freedom. I didn't mention that yesterday.
Medal of Freedom. She's a Kennedy Center honoree. You know, like there's so many accolades to her career beyond just the one Oscar nomination that we all feel that she should have had more roles, more awards. But the reason she was not in more movies is because she very fiercely stood up for the roles that she wanted to play and the image she wanted to put on the screen. And the lack of roles for her in cinema, I think, is a perfect reflection. Like, well, this is how many, roles that she felt were to the betterment of her career and her legacy that she was trying to create. It shows, like how many movies were falling into stereotypical imagery or characterizations, and she wanted to separate herself from those things as much as possible. This movie, like I was reading about this, she was 47 years old when she made this movie. Her breakout role came to her career when she was 47. And this movie, I think, was just like astonishing. I think this is, I think it's a masterpiece. I had not seen since I was a kid, so I didn't understand how movies are really told visually. I learned from cartoons and horror movies. That's just how it was when I was a kid. A weird combo, but nonetheless, that's what it was. And so when movies like this were mixed in, like, I appreciate that my mother made sure we saw movies like this. But, I understood, unfairness is like basically what I understood. But this movie, it feels like you're just right there with these people in this time and place. Like every detail is so perfectly, it's just so perfectly made for the screen, but in a way that's not overly sensationalized. It feels real and tactile in a way that, so many other movies don't. Like nothing is glamorized. He doesn't try to over-critify nature or any of these things. It's like everything is filtered specifically to this story and what it's about. And I was like so moved the entire time I was watching this movie. Every single shot told a story without being ostentatious. every take on an actor's face, like you felt that like the heat came off the screen from the sweat on their clothes and their bodies. Like I was crying so often. I may cry at some point talking about this movie because it's just that I feel like it's such a treasure.
There was also never a point in this movie where it was like, sorry, my cat brought me a piece of cat food. There was never, thank you, I'm not hungry. There was never a point in this where it was like, this is the Oscar moment. This is my little Oscar speech. And this is the clip they're going to show at the Oscars. There was nothing like that. No one had like some big monologue that they did. It definitely just seemed very real. I will say I was kind of expecting for Cicely Tyson and Paul Winfield to have larger parts, considering that they were both nominated for Best Actor. So even though everyone was fantastic in this, to me, the big standout was little Kevin Hooks playing the oldest son, David Lee. He was fantastic. And I just looked him up. He acted up and through the early 2000s, but he's actually a working director. He looks like he's like a really successful TV director.
I love that story because he was incredible.
He did several episodes of This Is Us and Preacher, and he did an episode of Castle Rock and Genius and The X-Files and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So he is definitely a working director. So it's nice to know that maybe he's not acting anymore, but it looks like he did act quite a bit in the 70s as a kid. Because he was great. Yeah, he also had just a very natural presence. There was never any moment where, like, I don't even think he cried in this film. He was just like the tough older brother who kind of had
there was a couple moments.
Yeah,
he saves it though for like, you know, like embraces. It's like everything feels so organically real. Like I was just like even noticing like the way like the clothes are torn and like, you know, like you get the sense like these are the only clothes that she owns, that she's putting on, you know. The way everything is filmed, like I said, like I just didn't feel so much overproduction. It's not stripped down in a sense because it's a very lush, you know, like it's a really beautifully produced movie.
Yeah,
it's not like they tried to make anything. But like it captures everything, like just like I said, it captures everything in an organic way. So you understand what they're up against, you know, in every single moment because of the way the actors are. You know exactly what their lives are. From the way it's just such like it's a masterclass in so many levels from all these actors, and Cicely Tyson is just like I'm amazed that the cinematographer only had one moment where the tears were making it hard to film, because her performance is just like it's just so real and like I said, and not in like this over like acting movie way. Like I said, I felt like I was witnessing like when she tells that sheriff, like I feel like that is a masterful piece of acting, is that she knows what she can get away with saying and what she can't, because she knows the respect she's built up with these people despite their racism, and when she just says, "You've got a low down job, sheriff," and walks out. I'm like
yeah, and still
like
it's
so
like she
much
never
that you
has
could
a
tell
moment where she's like, "Oh, bring my husband back." Like everything's very contained in this film, which I really appreciate, especially for something that was recognized so much by the Academy Awards. However, again, this didn't win anything. This was nominated for 4 Oscars, but this came out the same year as The Godfather and Cabaret. So just very different films. I mean, The Godfather and Cabaret are very different films, and then you throw this in there. It's hard to choose what would be the better film, just being that they're all so different.
So yeah, I'm not one of the people who's like passionately devoted to The Godfather. So I
like it, but I think Cabaret
feel very comfortable if I had to choose between this or The Godfather. Like this would be above The Godfather for me.
Would you pick this over Cabaret though?
I would put it on par with Cabaret because I think both of them are rebellious, revolutionary pieces of filmmaking in their own unique ways. Like they both are brilliant works of art that are unlike anything else in film. And they're totally honest in a way from the perspective of how I feel like the honesty of the people making that film. Like I feel like everyone is genuinely invested in it. I don't feel like we're getting any phoniness anywhere in either film. So like, you know, I think that 1972 was a great year for movies it had this movie and Cabaret in it. It's a shame that either one had to be called number one above the other in any category. It makes you wish that, I wish that they could share Oscars, because why couldn't there be another tie? Like, I don't know. I just feel like at the very least, at least they can, because it seemed like a long shot that this movie would get any nominations. And it got a bunch. So it's like, hey, it moved enough people to, yes. Yeah, exactly, Walter. It's like, it's simple, but it's not like simplistic. You get the difference between something that's simple and something that's simplistic. Like something like I like to call simply brilliant, brilliant simpleness or something. I don't know. There's a way in which you can understand that people get the core of the material, and anything in excess that doesn't suit that material is just shaved off, and they keep it true and pure. And like, I think I told you earlier, it just felt like pure, honest filmmaking. Everywhere, every single moment. Like I remember there's a shot, there's all these interesting sort of tableau shots of the scenery or the places around them, and those single shots just tell you so much. I remember there's one shot of the outside of their small house, and there's a box grater hanging on the side of the house, and it's covered in rust. And but it's just like one small detail, like, they're probably using that. That's not decoration. That's something they probably have to scrub off real hard to use again. Like, it's just like there's little details like that everywhere. Like, even if that may not be where they keep the box grater in real life, like, I understand that, but there's nothing about that shot. Like, they're not changing the colors of these shots. They're not trying to make anything what it isn't, just to amplify emotion. Like, they stick to the material, and the material itself is so powerful. And it's based on a young adult novel, which really is, some of those novels are models of stripping a narrative down to its most important elements and really working on making those shine.
There is Sounder Part 2, which does not have nearly as good of reviews. But that came out.
Did that make it to theaters or TV?
I don't know. It came out in 1976. And this one, the plot of it is poor Black sharecroppers band together to build a school for their children.
Well, there is that whole part in this first movie where he's coming back from trying to find his dad at the labor prison, and he comes across this school where it's like all Black children, and he's not like, that's the thing about this movie too. It's like they make racism realistic in a really painful way, because it's common and casual and everywhere. And like that one woman, like the one woman that they have that's an advocate who treats them like human beings and puts herself out there and risks, her own safety in a way to, rifle through the share. Like, she doesn't, I just like that they had that one character in there, and that she, like, hey, here's somebody who stuck their neck out for somebody else, just purely because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And they don't, like, I mean, granted, who knows what happens to that lady later? They don't, the movie's not about her. But they don't include all these like images of like, oh, and here's the mob showing up to kill her later. Like, they're not trying to just horrify you. They're trying to like really make you understand what it's like to live here and be in this place.
Yeah, the Sounder too, it looks like it's, I don't know if this author, he must have written another book, but he was involved in it. It's like, there must be a sequel to this book.
And if Walter, if you have not heard of it, and like everybody in the movies, you didn't even know. So I was like, I felt for a second, I'm like, how did I not know this?
Yeah,
like,
it only has a 5.8 out of 10 on.
Well, I've seen lower.
That's true. Anyway, but I don't know if that's necessarily one where you'd be like, oh, let's see this. Although Taj Mahal is in that one as well. Maybe he's one of the parents who's trying to help. Yeah, Taj Mahal, that was really awesome seeing him in this. And the soundtrack was great.
Amazing, right? Like, I don't know why. Like, I kind of like some of those songs. One of those songs, I think the opening song kind of has stuck in my head since I watched it.
Yeah.
I found myself like humming some of the words, and I'm like, I should really listen to this song and really listen to what they're saying. But I don't know. I can't say enough good things about this movie. I'm so happy that we chose it. Turner Classic Movies actually did put they put a bunch of her movies on demand.
Really?
So because of her passing, so I watched this on the Turner Classic Movies channel.
Really?
On YouTube. I have YouTube TV subscription, and
Damn,
the YouTube TV subscription gives me the video on demand titles. And so when I searched for it, there it was. And it even had the introduction that they did for the movie where they go over the history of it and Cicely Tyson specifically. So if you have Turner Classic Movies, I would check your video on demand options.
I rented it. You know
the reason I searched to make sure was because when I went to Amazon, it said it was only available to rent in standard definition, which I was not going to do. So I was like, okay, there's got to be another way to do this. So then I searched. I'm like, well, maybe it's on demand on YouTube TV.
As DevDOS, which was like so bad for it being standard definition.
That's why I was like, I can't believe you didn't get the app for free to watch it in like 4K HD. When we were talking about its visual splendor. Instead, you watch it in like pixelated.
It was bad.
SD.
It was really disappointing. I'm not seeing it on their app, but you know what is on TCM? This really just applies to me and Samir. Is Yolanda and the Thief.
Wait, where's Yolanda and the Thief?
On TCM on their app right now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's gonna have to add something to my DVR on YouTube TV. Lets me keep things for 9 months. I mean, I do have the DVD of that movie, but it's nice to be able to just click and not have to go actually use physical media when I don't have to. But I'm gonna make sure I get that in there.
To answer your question, Luke, yes, this movie Sounder was available on Brown Sugar. I did not look into it. That I hadn't even heard of that streaming service until yesterday. But it is available on there as well. And most streaming services do have that some sort of free trial period. So if you really want to see this, but otherwise you might be able to watch it on YouTube with their TCM. I didn't see it on their TCM app. Actually, I didn't see any of her movies on there. I saw some other.
Well, this was it was video. It said video on demand.
Okay.
So you would have to search your on demand. I would search on your actual television if you have video. If you have on demand services with your cable and you subscribe to Turner Classic Movies, and you should have access to their on demand titles, and it should be saved in there. So you have to search through your cable box, through your cable remote, and check their video on demand, because it may not be on the app just because it's on demand. Those are two different things. So I didn't search on the TCM app. I searched my subscription to TCM, and that's one of the. The only thing I don't like about YouTube TV is that their HD cutoff is 1080, which is like not current HD, but they do.
Minimal HD.
It is cheaper to subscribe to all these main channels, and you also get access to all the video on demand titles with different channels through that subscription. You don't have to go somewhere else. It's all in there. So that's how I was able to find it so easy. And I don't know why I hadn't thought to check. It just makes sense because that's what Turner Classic Movie always does. If some major legend passes away, they're like, okay, whatever programming we had this week is out the window. We're going to show all this person's movies that we can get access to right now. Everybody prepare your 2-minute intro videos now, kind of deal. And so they did with her, and it was still there along with some of her other films. Of course, Walter mentioned one of her other great roles was the TV movie, The Autobiography of Miss Jane Pitman, which we also mentioned yesterday among her credits. That one, I believe, is available to stream as well. So if you want to see more of her work, that would be the perfect place to start. And I believe it is widely available. So check that out too. Just a little extra credit for Cicely Tyson today.
But yeah, I definitely am looking forward to seeing more of her work. And she was acting for like 70 years. So,
yeah, they said it. Her career spanned 8 decades.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
A lot to catch up on there. But let's talk about cats.
Not the
So
movie Cats.
no, not this. Yeah, not that cat's. This cat, this kitten, please. So we chose this movie again. There were some other. We've talked about this before on previous genre Thursdays this month of like why did we choose the cat movies that we chose and why some got left out. This was one where neither one of us had seen it. It admittedly looks slightly stupid, of just like kind of like a dumb comedy.
Look silly.
Which isn't to say that I'm not going to enjoy it. But it looked fun. And also the fact that, of course, it meets the criteria of it's got a cat in it. And the fact that Key and Peele are in this, which is another opportunity to highlight them for Black History Month. As we mentioned before, we've highlighted Jordan Peele as for Director Tuesday before, and then we talked about Us when we talked about Lupita Nyong'o. So we've covered both of his films that he has written
movies until Candyman remake comes out, which we're still waiting for.
Yes. Yeah, but this was definitely a way like, okay, we can still talk about him being like another prominent Black filmmaker who is certainly one to watch. And yeah, and little Key here, little sexy Key, Keegan-Michael Key.
I have a long-standing crush on Mr. Key. Like any chance I get to see him in a movie or a TV show, I'm taking because he's really hot and funny.
Yeah. As I was telling Samir right when we were going live, my first experience with the both of them was through Keegan Michael Peele through that's his name, right? Keegan Michael Key
and Jordan Peele.
Caffeine needs to hit me. I had first seen him at the White House Correspondents' Dinner when Obama was still president, and Key was there. So he was supposed to be like the angry Black man side of Barack Obama that he's not allowed to show as a.
I was going to say the angry voice.
Yes, as a president, he's not allowed to show that side of himself. And it was hysterical, and I had no idea who he was because I had never watched their show. Their show was on from 2012 to 2015, and I think that Correspondence Dinner was kind of more in the middle there. Yeah, but people kept saying like, "Oh, he's from Key and Peele," and I was like, "What is Key and Peele?" And I still haven't ever watched an entire episode of their show. I've seen what has been put on YouTube, and it's pretty hysterical. I think one of the standout ones, to me, I think it's I would assume one of the more famous ones is the substitute teacher, and he's trying to pronounce their names. Like, oh God, it's so funny. Yeah, but they are this amazing duo, and it's great that they have continued to work together since their show ended. I was reading about why their show ended. It was a very successful show. They had 5 seasons in 3 years, which is crazy. But it sounds like the biggest thing was they just kind of felt like the show had run its course. Of like, we feel like we're starting to kind of do the same thing, and we don't want to do that. And Jordan Peele was probably like, well, I'm just going to go bounce and Get Out and get nominated for Oscars and win an Oscar. Yeah, so that's wordness to the turdness. Yeah, so this film came out in 2016. So this was still, actually, this would have been right after their show had ended. When the adorable kitten of an LA crime kingpin unexpectedly enters the life of 2 cousins, they will have to go through tough gangs, pitiless hitmen, and ruthless drug dealers who all claim him to get him back. How hard can it be? This also has Tiffany Haddish, Method Man, Luis Guzman, Will Forte, it's got a fun group.
Like,
and of course, Keanu Reeves. I believe
of
he
course,
is
as the
also-
voice of who? Keanu?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Which I'm really curious because I don't even know in the trailer from watching it. So it was like, does the cat talk? Apparently so. Or
Like
he's in there
to
somewhere.
them? Like,
I
is
don't
the
know.
like I've never seen this movie, so I don't even know if this is like, is this like from the cat's point of view when we're hearing some like cat narration in the voice of Keanu Reeves, or is this cat actually like a talking cat and that's why
I
everyone's
don't
like,
know.
get that cat?
And then they're gonna have like this adorable little kitten, and then like this sexy voice of Keanu Reeves. I'm gonna have
Well,
a lot of mixed feelings.
maybe he'll probably de-emphasize trying to sound sexy since he's playing a cat. You know, he is an actor. He can use his voice in different ways. He's
Still sounded
capable.
sexy in like Toy Story 4 when he had that one character in that.
But I think you just like the sound of his voice, and it's very entrancing to you.
Yes. I even liked him when he was trying to do his fake British accent in Bram Stoker's Dracula. But Key and Peele have certainly moved on a lot from being on their hit TV show. Of course, I think Jordan Peele, you know, obviously he's had this great filmmaking career. I don't even know if he has too much interest in acting, but they're both Emmy winners too. They got nominated for their show Key and Peele, and they won.
And did they?
Yeah, I'm looking up stuff about. Oh my God, Keegan Michael Key has 111 acting credits.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with.
Oh my God, and that's starting in 91 and then 97, and then from 2000 on, he's been very busy.
Good
I guess
thing.
he was on Mad TV for a while. Oh, he was on Mad TV.
No.
I'm reading. Yeah, he did. He did Barack Obama on that.
Well, maybe that has something
Yeah,
to do
it's
with why they brought him into the Correspondence Dinner.
Yeah, I read more about Jordan Peele from when we did our Director Tuesday on him, but now I'm like, it's all coming back to me of like how the two of them met.
It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, I think they met. Did they meet on Children's Hospital? It was something.
Sorry, for a second I thought you said General Hospital. Like they were not on General Hospital. Children's Hospital, gotcha.
Yeah, Children's Hospital. Sorry, did I say General Hospital?
No, I heard General Hospital. I was like, wait, no, what? That never happened.
Yeah, but I think whatever it was, they both realized they were like, we need our own show. This, yeah, we need our own show. So this movie, I believe, is also only available to rent. Unless Samir can find it somewhere right now. You're on a mission.
I'm going to check.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure from what I saw, that's the only place where it was. But we've got a fun day planned tomorrow. We have our last cult classic romance of the month, a gay romance starring
Finally
Oliphant. Yes, we're like we have to have some non-heterosexual love in this month of February. We have that, and we will be doing our big calendar reveal for March.
That's right.
So do not want to miss that. Are you seeing it anywhere?
I'm checking, but I don't. Let's see.
Yes, Timothy Elephant.
Oliphant.
No,
I don't see it included in any of the other free apps. It was not included in video on demand with any cable channels that I could find. So it's $2.99 to rent.
Oh yeah.
Support Key and Peele, man. I love them.
Yeah. So in my case, unfortunately, 2 rentals in a row, but we've done a pretty good job on rentals this month.
We do our best. We do our
Yeah.
best to minimize them. Sometimes the movies just call to us, and I can't resist the call.
I know.
I
Sometimes
would say
we're
this one called to Amy more than myself, but I still have fun watching it.
Yeah, I think this movie is going to be really fun. It doesn't have like the greatest reviews, but I know a lot of people who thought that this movie was hysterical. So if anything, I just think that we're just going to have a great time. Oh my God, Luke.
It's talking about Timothy Oliphant. Well, this is when he was younger, and I had a major crush on him, and I don't think he's actually gay, so that was a
I don't
disappointment.
think he
But
is. I love him.
that was how I learned that almost all the good gay roles in movies go to straight actors. That's just how it
Wait,
goes.
now I need to look up how old he is. He's born in 68. Okay. Oh, such a good looking man.
Very.
Okay.
I know. That smile, those sparkly eyes.
Oh, yes. Yes. We'll talk all about him tomorrow, as well as our talk on Keanu after the movie, and then we will be talking about tomorrow's film, and as I just said, the big March calendar reveal. We've got some fun things planned for that month. Please check out our Patreon if you are so inclined. We most appreciate it, and he's not been married for years. Well,
Well,
there
we
is
need
an
to
opening.
get an introduction. Hint,
And I know my dad
hint, hint.
because my dad loves him too. He's a huge Justified fan.
I loved him in this. This was the first. That was the first movie I ever saw him in. So we'll get into it tomorrow. And Walter, we
Yes.
will talk about Making Love also tomorrow. I'll be bringing that up.
Yes, actually, yeah, that'd be fun. We should talk about more gay romances tomorrow, which we do have some planned for next month. Yes. Thank you guys for watching today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy Keanu. No, no.